Okay, today's Wednesday, the 26th of September. This is Esperanza, and she's a 2-year-old Peruvian Paso filly. A little tiny girl. She's about 13.1, stands about 13.1 hands, and hasn't had much done with her. She's just had basic handling, feet trimmed, and been tied up a couple times. She's a really good little horse. We're going to see what we can get done with her today. I'm coming off of a broken collarbone right now, so I'm going to be doing things a little bit different than I normally do. But I guess this is a good time to illustrate that you don't have to do everything the same way with every horse, and there's no one perfect way that you have to do everything. There's a lot of different ways to get the same thing done. If you're a good horseman, you take your time and you listen to your animal, you'll be able to get it done without stressing them out too much. So today, since I kind of have limited time with this little mare, we're going to see if we can get her used to the saddle. YouTube only lets you put 10-minute video clips on there. So we'll see how she responds, and if it looks like she's going to be able to handle it real well, then we'll go ahead and proceed. She's had some handling, like I said, some basic grooming. She hasn't had a lot of handling done, but you can see she's not a crazy little horse. Still has hair coming out of her because she's still young. We're in September and she's never really been brushed all the way out, so you can see she hasn't been handled too awfully much, but she's just got a good mind on her. So it shouldn't go too bad, I don't think. First thing I'm going to do is see if I can get her to accept this saddle pad. And the key when you're tying them up to do this, most of the time I don't tie them up to sack them out to new things, but when you're tying them up to new things, they can't go anywhere. They are locked in place, so you have to be real sensitive about where their boundary is. They'll tell you where the boundary is when they start getting uptight. So I'm going to show this to her and see what her reaction is. She's kind of turning that. She's got a lot of flies on her that are bothering her, but she reached out, gave a little puff and a sniff. Check it out. Take it away from her so she doesn't think that it's going to get her. When she came towards me, that's a good sign. Hopefully we can get this done pretty quick here. I think we'll be able to. There she goes chewing on it a little bit. Some horses, see, this is the first time I've ever had a saddle pad anywhere near her. And you can see, oh, there's a little nervousness right there. Little nervousness, but she's accepting it, so I'm going to back off. I take the pressure away after she accepts it. And she wants to play with it a little bit there. So she knows what it's like to be brushed. There she goes licking and chewing already. She knows what it's like to be brushed, and it feels good to her. So I'm going to use this saddle pad like a big brush. It doesn't have to be a big scary object. Once she realizes that it's not going to hurt her, there's no reason she can't like it. I'm really impressed with the way she's handling this. This is the first time I've been anywhere near her with the saddle pad. She wants to play with it a little bit. Wow. She's a nice little filly. You're going to really like her. A friend of mine named Rhonda and Steve in Washington just bought her. They're going to come down and get her, in a month or two, I imagine, when they can work it out. In the meantime, I'm going to play with her a little bit, see what we can get her used to. So there's nothing to it. So much of how things go with your horse really depends on how you expose them to it the very first time. If you're sensitive enough to realize where their boundary is, and by boundary I mean there's a distance that you can get to your animal before they're afraid of something. Right now she's not afraid of it at all. She's still not afraid of it. She's still not. She's a curious little filly. And a curious horse is an easy horse to train. So now I could just walk up to her and see what she'd do there, and I'd probably be pressing my luck. So she's curious about it right now. I'm going to take it away from her. Her eyes are still on it. She's still wondering, what is that? I like it when a horse will turn their head towards things and play with it with their mouth and smell it. Okay, there's my first sign that my boundary is right there. So I'm going to take it away. She says, if you put the saddle right there, that makes me nervous. When you take something away from a horse, if they're nervous about it, you're putting pressure on them psychologically by being here with this scary object. When you take it away, take the scary object away, that psychological pressure goes away. So you see her disposition change there? I'll come back up to her. She's curious. As long as she's curious and she's playing with it, I'm in a really good place with her. She's mentally capable of learning because she's not thinking that she has to be afraid of it. Okay, do you see that? There we go again. That's a little bit of a nervous response. Got a little bit of a nervous response going on. You bit at it. Heads up, bobbing her head a little bit. So there's a little bit of a nervous response. And stay with her for just a second. There. The key to being able to get this done is being able to read your horse and see when they decided that it was okay. Probably saw her skin tense up there, kind of flinched like she had flies on her. Exactly what she was doing is those were involuntary muscle responses to something that's irritating her, like a fly being on her or something. Probably going to swing over to the other side. I'm a real firm believer that horses can read your energy